Hi BookTube, it's Lindsay, and I'm here to talk about the books I read this previous week. I read 6 books, a mixture of fiction and nonfiction, like I usually do. My week went better than it has in the past. It's looking up, just in time for summer, because no one wants to stay in like a stressed mood for long. I mean, I try to get out of those and find a solution as soon as possible. So yeah. We've made some decisions me and my boyfriend have with like life decisions and stuff, and so yeah, and family things have all like settled down now. So yeah, I'm ready for the summer. So let's get into the books. The first book, speaking of summer, was one with a very beachy cover. It's my first book by Mary Kay Andrews, The High Tide Club. It's like the beach bag and the crab, and this is about Josephine, and she lives on, I think, Talisa Island is in the south. And it focuses on her and how, you know, she lives this like kind of like glamorous lifestyle, and it's kind of like a historical fiction following her, but it's mainly focused on contemporary times with her trying to redeem herself with people from her past, and some of them from her close group of friends. The High Tide Club is like 4 friends, and 2 of them have passed away, and so she has reached out to the grandkids, the children of her friends, to try and redeem herself. She's setting up a will because she knows her time is short, and so she wants to resolve some of her wrongdoings. And you don't really find out what all she has gotten up to, if you will, until like kind of like some of it's like the climax of the book. And some of it was kind of shocking because you meet this like little old lady who lives this glamorous lifestyle, but yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but she was a crafty old woman. So yeah, I really liked this book, Mary Kay Andrews books, and I will definitely be looking for more in the future. Perfect for like a beach read. I mean, it was light, but it wasn't so light. You know, there was, you know, conflict and resolution, like I was saying. So yeah, I like that good mixture. And this other one I read was continuing with the Babysitter's Club, book number 3, The Truth About Stacy, by Anne M. Martin. And this one, it's kind of like a poignant moment because in this picture, it's like Stacy with the girl she's babysitting. They're looking at like a pastry case, and this book is about following her. And like before this book, I'd only really known that she's from New York. She has diabetes, and she's like a popular girl in school who focuses on fashion. But other than that, you didn't really know much about her. And so this one, it focuses on her struggle with diabetes. And not just her struggle, but her parents warring with her over, you know, they want to like find all these cures. They want to take her to all these doctors and try all these different methods, anything possible to cure her of diabetes. Whereas her mindset is she just wants to find a way of living with the disease she has. You know, and so in the picture is, you know, her point looking at the sugary sweets. And so, you know, it's like you know, the daily struggle of finding that balanced diet because, you know, she has like insulin problems, so she can't just eat tons of sugar like some of her, like the other girls in the Babysitter's Club can. So yeah, I really like this one, and I like how, like, you know, opened with Christy, and then you got Claudia, Stacy, and so the next one I think is Mary Ann. So it's like you get to get to know each of the 4 main characters. And I think there's, you know, from the little I know of this series, if there's going to be more babysitters joining the group, and so I'm hoping to learn about these 4 core before we move on to learning about some new ones. This next book I read was a mystery book, part of the Wick and Wheel mystery. This is The Mayday Murder. It says death is in full bloom, with a pretty like maypole with a cat and like flowers. And so this is about a witch who she kind of practices like herbal magic in a way of like just like, I don't know, kind of like worshiping every day to prepare herself for the day ahead kind of thing. Like, you know, using like the seasons and where the stars are aligned, that kind of thing. But in this book, it's not just one witch with this main character, but it's also the bad guys are the witches who like use hexes and like bad magic, I don't know, dark magic. And so she's trying to figure out, of this group who practice magic, who are not exactly the same practices of magic that she does, which of them is the bad guy who, of course, is a murder involves like kind of like a cozy mystery. So who killed this person? You know, which is the one? So it's like all about her investigating and trying to get in with these witches and druids, like druids. I'm not sure so who done it. So yeah, I really like this one. I read one other one by her, which was just focusing on the main character. It wasn't another magical element to it. So this one, I liked the contrast between the good and the bad of the witches. And so this next one is a history book. It's by Adam Tooze, and I listened to this on an audiobook. It's narrated by Ralph Lister, and it's The Deluge, The Great War, America, and the Remaking of the Global Order, 1916 to 1931. And Adam Tooze is an economic historian, and so you can really tell that in this book because he uses statistics and economics to show how the war kind of played out. Not just the war itself, but especially after, because this is following 1916 to 1931, so that time period after World War I, how the U.S. kind of had the swaying, the power to make really important decisions, just because the United States banks kind of paid for World War I in a way, and so they had a lot of voice and say in the matter. And so this really focused a lot on Woodrow Wilson, and not in the best way. He made a lot of blunders, and so it's and it's also Woodrow Wilson wanting one thing, and then the Congress, which was very isolationist, kind of battling it out and making these decisions, and how all of these controversial decisions kind of led to World War II, and all the Great Depression and all of that. And so yeah, it was a really good book to read. It's kind of hard to really review history books in a way, but yeah, I really liked it. It was very it gave me a lot of information, and it gave me a lot to think about in that aspect of statistics and money, not just this is what happened in the war, but this is why, this is his take on what led to the 1931, what steps did we take and how do we get there, and the people involved. So yeah, there's that one. And then switching from a meaty history book, I chose to read a children's book, Bridge to Terabithia, with this really pretty cover by Catherine Patterson. And I really like the cover. And so this is about two childhood friends, Jess Aarons, who is kind of following his crowd, and he's in elementary school, and so he's I think it's 5th grade, and he's trying to beat the boys in this running competition. And then this scrawny girl who's kind of an outsider it becomes his neighbor, and she lives a very different lifestyle than him. She calls her parents by their first name, kind of like a hippie lifestyle. And so them two become friends, and lo and behold, she is really good at running, and so they kind of become friends through that. And so the friend, Leslie Burke is her name, and she wants to create this magical world where they're kings and queens in Terabithia. And so yeah, it was a really nice story. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm sure everyone who's read this book knows. I didn't know much about it going into it, except I knew it was a children's classic. But I was shocked and a bit appalled by the big reveal in the story. I was like, really? I think I said out loud no or something like that. So yeah, I'm not sure what I think of how the story went. I read the author's acknowledgments and her kind of explanation in the back of the book, because this was one of those anniversary editions, and she explains why she made the choices that she did and what prompted her to write this book. And so yeah, I kind of understood through that, but it felt really abrupt. And but that's part of life. Things happen that there is no explanation for. They just happen. It's just your luck that you make it through every day, kind of thing, without getting in a car wreck or anything can happen. So yeah, this book I have to think about to really get a feel for with a review I would give it. Do I really like it or do I hate it? I don't hate it. I think I'm in the middle of it right now, but it might grow on me. We'll see. And this last book is a fantasy book, I can't never pronounce this, the David Bad trilogy, book 2. And this is Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakravarti. It is really cool cover of a door. And this like again, like since it's a sequel, it's hard for me to really describe it without giving anything away. But it kind of, at the first chapter, it jumps right from the first book, the ending, and then after that, you're going ahead in time a bit, like 5 years, and then what are the characters doing from that point on. So it's the same as like the first book. It's really fast paced, lots of action. You really get a feel for the characters, and it's a really cool setting because it's not a typical fantasy book where it's like Middle Ages. You know, it's with swords and whatnot. This is like a magical realm in Egypt. The woman, the main character, Nari, is from Cairo, and so she's constantly comparing and contrasting this new Davidbad to Cairo because she's not human, but she misses that world, and so you get a real good feel for the town. So yeah, I really hard for me to review this one, but I enjoyed it, and I'm looking for the next one. I think it's going to be like a year or so until the next one comes out. Well, that's just like part of fantasy. Reading a fantasy series is, unless you pick an older series, which I prefer doing, just because I have the whole thing ready at my fingertips to get my hands on. But it is nice to, you know, follow along and keep up pace with everyone who's waiting for the next installment. So I can hear my dog. He's like licking the carpet. I don't know what he's doing. Tucker. I'm sure you can hear that. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe there's like food dropped on or something. Anyway, so these are the books I read this week. Like I mentioned in my Friday reads, I'm right now in the middle of reading a bunch of books because I knew I had a 3-day weekend. I don't have many of those, and so I tried to like chock it full as much as possible with tons of books. And so I'm really a little bit not stressed out, but I'm like, I need more time. I need another day just to get to everything I want to do and read. But yeah, I'm having a really lovely weekend. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend off if you're in the United States, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, BookTube.